Alright, we are live. There we go. I'm here with my my esteemed fuzzy editor here. I sat down and immediately insisted upon sitting on my lap. So this is how we're writing. This is how it's gonna be, and I can accept that or not. In either way, it's just this is how it's gonna be. Isn't that right, little one? It's very cold around here today, so she's looking for extra body heat. I know, and there's a bit of irony that you're looking for body heat here, kitty, and you're unlikely to find excessive amounts of it on my lap because I have a cold pack on my leg because I got kneed really hard in the quad yesterday, didn't I? I know it. Anywho, here we are, we're live. It's Friday. What a great day to be alive. Any Friday ever. Assuming you have weekends off. If you don't have weekends off, then Friday probably is less special to you. But dang it, that's not a good talking point, and we speak to generalities of an overall audience. So, that's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. But it is Friday, which means we are going to do a little bit of writing here. And the fun part about writing today is we finished all of our outlines for the missions, which means we are in, hey Eldritch, how's it going? Oh my god, that's a throwback. I gotta watch that video someday. Again, that's a throwback, that's a good one. I'm gonna try and recreate the glory of He-Man waking up in the morning. Oh golly. But yeah, we're gonna work on. We finished all of our outlines, which means which means we get to start diving into the part that is really one of my favorite parts, and that is adding a whole lot of detail to the world. I know that's my favorite part, isn't it, Kitty? I know. I love adding detail. I love getting things all kinds of specific, so that way I can impress my. I can impress all of my, I don't even know what I was saying, and all my players with, like, some shit, I don't know, with how little time I have, I guess, is where that joke was going, but I lost it halfway through. I don't know, it's Friday, I'm not thinking, I had the day off. Oh, you're gonna work on weapon attributes now, eh, Eldritch? That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I dig it. I dig it. Alright, let's see here, so, let's see, the territory quick list. We're going to empty this out for a minute. Because this is really meant to be a table of contents, but it's going to take some time for me to have everything ready for that. What I do want to do is we have our territory generalities here, right? And so, as I say details, we're going into generalities. But I guess it's kind of like, I don't know, these are meant to be sort of details that can be pretty much used anywhere within it like anywhere in the territory. That's kind of what the point of these are. So it's like for all of the traveling and stuff like that. So it's like, just ways to, oh, they're traveling for this day and that day, then, go to this area and we can find the stuff that we're looking for, right? That's where our wandering encounters come from. Sounds like you got your system in place there, Eldritch. Sounds like a sweet process for sure. But yeah, so what do I want to do? Okay, first off, I want to make sure I'm not reinventing the wheel. So this is all of the old stuff for back when the territory was only... Give me my scroll bar. There we go. Back when the territory was only this area, and then it expanded quite a bit. It has definitely grown in size. But a lot of the stuff can still be kind of used here, I think. Hey, Kickstand, how's it going? Good to see you. Welcome. Actually, I don't know how much of this stuff is going to be reusable because it's all specific to the island, which if we pull up, I need Wonder Draft here. Let's open up our region map here. What's up, kitty? Do you see birds out there? Oh yeah, she's freaking out right now on my lap because she sees birds out there. It's going meh. Well, hopefully you can hang out here and we can have some fun adding some more detail to my world here, and hopefully that'll brighten things up for you a little bit. But I certainly know where you're coming from. I think we all have days like that. Yesterday was a day like that for me. I had a long day, and then I went to my kickboxing class and I got beat up. I have a lot of new bruises. It was kind of meh for me, but that's okay. I got ice packs and Bengay, so I'm doing good. I'm good to go today. Hey, Spooky, how's it going? How is it going? Alrighty. So here's our map. Yeah, so like previously, all that old stuff that I had written was all just like right here. And we're really expanding this region, so yeah. Yeah, I think I just kind of got to start from scratch, but honestly, I don't really have a problem with that. It's kind of nice now that I'm doing such a fresh take on all of this stuff. I think it's kind of nice to just sort of approach it, you know, completely new and try and do stuff all over again. I don't really mind doing that, honestly, to be perfectly honest. Alright, so if we're talking about our history for the region here, so when we're talking about the history for this, the history of this region is really going to be heavily based on our oh, I know, Kitty. It's going to be based on our big main city up here, Bepimat. That's where most of the history comes from. The rest of this is all just outlying territories that really historically would have been really like the doings of this territory would have revolved around what was going on up in Bepimat, right? That was the big city even before the unhinging, when everything went doo-doo cockapoo-poo in the world. You know, that was the happening place. That was where the cool kids lived. And then meanwhile, all this stuff was just all the lame farmers and stuff. So we can really, you know what I might be able to do? Let me see what I have historically for, do I not have, let me look in the old atlas here, maybe. What row? Old territory. Fuck, I don't even remember where I had all of that stuff saved. Around in here. Not there, not there. Nope, nothing there. There it is. Yep, okay, there we go. Found it. Yeah, so here we go. So here's our history. We can take this. So let's see, what do we have here? Foreign Unhinging Bepimat was a shining utopia. People were educated, studies of science. Science and magic were flourishing, culture was rich with art and philosophy, the city was the envy of much of the world, near a tropical paradise where anyone could find an avenue to push the boundaries of knowledge that would suit their skills and interests. There were universities for every school of magic, libraries as large as cathedrals, trade markets that would span multiple streets. It was a wonderful place to live, and then the unhinging occurred. Yep. That has not changed even with the sort of re-edit of this region. That is all very much it. In the days of the unhinging, Bepimat was put up a noble fight. The people of the outlying farmlands were brought within the city walls, and that starts encompassing our surrounding areas. City guard fought bravely against the hordes of beasts and monstrosities that stormed from all ends, but ultimately their fate was the same as any other. Huge swaths of the city were lost to tears in the fabric of reality. Monsters came from below, collapsing buildings and culling people within. In the end, the city was reduced to mostly rubble, and only a fraction of the people it once had. Rebuilding was a long, slow process. People were broken, and morale was low. Was at a low never experienced. Truth be told, the damage done to the city, both physically and emotionally, never healed right. The city goes on, but life is one of daily routine and grind now. The ancient ways of knowledge and growth aren't even tales told to children laying down to bed. Nevertheless, shadows of the city that once was still lay hidden beneath the homes built on top of the rubble. Forgotten knowledge and skills of old are waiting to be discovered, though twisted and guarded by the darkness that the unhinging brought. It waits for the light. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna take all of this. I actually think this is good. Again, not reinventing the wheel, if I don't have to. As much fun, even though I just went on a diatribe about how much fun it can be, the fact is that's also fun. So how do I add character sheets to OneNote? I mean, I guess it depends on what you mean by adding character sheets. kickstand, like if you just want to copy and paste an image of one, like a PDF of one, you can easily download like a PDF from just about any website that you would use, or if you scan an image. If you're talking about like creating a template, I mean, that's just going to be up to personal taste to do stuff like that. So I guess it kind of depends on what you're looking for. Like if you're looking for it to be more interactive, I mean, the way I would go about it is just the appearance. I mean, so for the thing for me is I just went online and found there's a lot of people have created some really cool templates that you can download. And so when I'm doing that type of stuff, I can, let's see here, where's, it should be under insert. This is a different version that I usually use. View maybe? Where do the, not that I usually use, it's just an updated version. The frick are my stupid templates? There's a way to add templates in here somewhere. It's open feed, page sync status. I don't remember how you install or how you do the templates. I would have thought it would be in the insert here. Meeting details, symbol, equation, researcher stickers. I wonder if I can do. Let's see. Nope, not new section. Delete that. Yep, delete it. Add a page maybe. I don't remember where it is in here, and I'm not going to waste too much time finding it right now. There are templates. There are templates that you can find, because that's what I used. I found a template that someone had made, and I just take it and I reform it. As far as the appearance goes, when it comes to the actual contents of it, I have in here, I have pre-made templates that I've designed that incorporate all of the information that I want to have based on whether I'm working on a territory, a city, a shop, or an adventure, right? And so I've just kind of predetermined all of the stuff that I want to put in there, and that's just for my personal style of DMing, and I just basically go ahead and fill in the blanks that way. There you go, kitty. She's gonna walk past and go sit in her bed now. That works. That works for me, kitty. So yeah, that's the gist of it. You can find templates, and see now it's gonna bother me though. Like, where the hell did the templates go? I know I got them here. I updated. I had been working on a very old version of Office for a long time, and I got this new PC, and it was just like Microsoft has definitely got me by the by the short ones, and it they just make it so impossible to install and keep using old versions of Office. It was damn near impossible to find versions. I couldn't effectively transfer it over because it kept giving me licensing issues, so I finally caved, and I'm using Office 365 now, which pisses me off because it's an annual thing that I have to pay for every year now, which is just the most ridiculous thing. But the fact is I've got so much tied up into OneNote, and I have yet to find a tool that I like as much as OneNote. So I'm using the new version of OneNote, but I don't know where everything is laid out all the time. I know there's templates, like you've got page templates. I just don't know where they store them anymore. I don't know. Draw, view, new window, page color, delete notes, translate, check accessibility, hide authors, help. I mean, I could use some help, but probably not any kind that Windows can offer me. But at any rate, once you get the templates all figured out, then all you can do is, like, once you're in here, right, so if I'm doing a new city, I'll just come over here, and I'll just copy it, right, the template, and so it remakes it so it all ends up looking the same. So it's real simple and straightforward once you get to that point. But yeah, that's it. You know, you can just go online, look for OneNote D&D templates, and a whole bunch of stuff will come up for you. That's probably the best way to go about it. You'll find what you're looking for when you do that. It'll take care of you. So let's see here. So we've got our history here, and honestly, I like the history that's in place there. I think that really covers everything. So there's our history. Current ownership. This is where I put this is where I start fleshing out kind of the factions that people will encounter, right? So here we're going to current ownership. We're going to just do basic underline here. Bepimat, which is our main city, right? And so I'm just going to put a little blurb here. Bepimat is the primary city in this region. It is a guarded city that is safe from the wilds, right? Because we got the wilds, that's sort of the dangerous, like that's pretty much this entire area, right? Right. That's my world is that I'm working on. We've got our guarded cities, a handful of safeguarded cities, and then everything else is just kind of, you know, just it's the wilds. It's uncontrolled. It's like riddled with monsters and everything. So Bepimat is the current city in this region, guarded from the wilds. Did I previously have figured out we had yes, we had some kind of demographics. I've changed a lot of the information here. Did I have I had that's right, I had a lot of this stuff kind of fleshed out here, so we can kind of go back and forth and take some of the stuff, but there's a lot of reformatting gonna be doing. So nice, Kickstand, working on a card game. That's sweet. That's cool, man. I love how creative all of you guys are. There's so many cool creative people watching this, and I dig it. I'm all about that. All about that for sure. Let's see here. So, Cities from the Wild. So, it is a primarily human city, but as with any remaining city after the unhinging, most races have some level of representation within the population. Oops, I missed an O there. Level of representation within the population. The city is led by. So this one, it's a monarchy type of city. It's got, but it's ruled by the queen. She's the like presently anyway. She's the blood inheritor of the throne. So there's the queen, and then there's like they call him within the way I've kind of designed the culture is like they still sort of give honor to the spouse, but like not truly. So it's like we've got the queen, and then there's the spouse king, right? And so because he's married into the throne, he's not like actually the king, and so that's just kind of the way that this city does it. City is led by Queen Saba and her husband, the spouse king. What did I name him? He had a name. Oops, no, we go up in here. Spouse king Jabari, that's right. Spouse king Jabari. Let's see here. They are generally well liked, if a little distant in their leadership style. They step in for large events and emergencies, but otherwise are not seen throughout. Wow, that was an absolute butchering of the word throughout. Seen throughout the city, leaving the daily routine operations to their advisors and council. So yeah, so the leaders in the city, they exist, they do things. People don't dislike them because, you know, they generally speaking do their jobs, but you know, they're not very present. They leave, I mean, just as I just wrote, they leave everything up to their advisors. That's the nature of this city, and really I just did that because I don't want this city and this region really don't rely on much interaction with the monarchy, with the leaders. And so I kind of do this to sort of subtly downplay the way everything is designed and organized in this city when I'm writing it and then presenting it to players, so that way they don't kind of, because a lot of times players will get these, like, and it's reasonable for them to, but a lot of times players will get sort of these visions of grandeur in their head where they're like, oh, what we're doing is the most important, we must speak to the king, right? But that's not how the city operates. They're not really going to be able to. So it's like this city is much more run by, you know, the people, and so that's kind of the atmosphere I'm trying to set up here. I also want to do, I know, hi Kitty, the wilds. So there, so Bepamat, the main city, is going to be largely different in atmosphere than the wilds, for a lot of obvious reasons, considering the city is populated and the wilds are not. So what I'm thinking for this, first off, wilds is a proper noun here. Gotta get that W capitalized. Sheesh. Call myself a writer. Let's see here. So the wilds, there are a few large and growing powers within the wilds. However, there are no uniform leaders that run the entirety of, wow, if only I could spell entirety of the wilds. Hey fanboy, how's it going? Yeah, we're working on some history. We're really what it is, we're diving into, you know, now that we got all of the outlines for all of the missions within this region, I'm starting to dive into doing some of the details. And one of the first things that I wanted to detail is just the region in general, for the sake of providing history as well as wandering encounters for the players. So basically what I'm doing is I'm just going down through the template and adding things as needed. So yeah, so we're working on, let's see here, most of the powerful creatures in the, I know, hi kitty. My cat is being very affectionate right now. I know, hi honey. You're being so sweet. Oh boy. So most of the powerful creatures in the wilds act on their own, finding little interest or need for a large gang of we'll say minions, and throughout the land. Boom. So that's pretty much it. And so basically I'm just trying to outline, like, there's, and the reason I'm kind of specifying that is because I do have a lot of ideas for what I would want to add in other regions where there would be much more of like an overarching territory war between, you know, between two or more different factions per se. And so I'm trying to sort of make sure I identify that that's not happening in this region. There's nothing like that going on. That doesn't mean players won't believe there's anything like that going on, or that I can't add anything like that later on during a campaign. But as a baseline, there's not really anything like that. So safe travel recommendations. This is a section that I decided to add for the sake of, if players, one of the things that I notice is sometimes, especially with a sandbox type of campaign, which is really what I'm trying to design this for, a lot of times players will struggle with direction or preparedness. They'll just kind of have the tendency to be like, especially if they're new players or new characters, they have the tendency to be like, all right, you know, like you'll present to them, it's like, okay, you're a bunch of players, you know, you have this one lead for treasure, you know, and you know it's out in the wilds, and the wilds are dangerous. What do you want to do? And their response is, we go to that place. It's like, well, okay, I mean, we can do it that way, but there's not much game involved if we do it that way. So when I do the safe travel recommendations, basically what I'm trying to do is trying to put down some tips, some different things to feed my players in terms of like, okay, well, you guys want to go there. Well, it's going to take, so many days to travel there. How are you going to get there? So it's like, what type of travel recommendations, are there going to be? So yeah, fanboy, rumor tables are absolutely necessary too, and for me, that's kind of something that I will include as well. But that's more so, I kind of compile and will do like a short list, like up here, the quick list, a short list of basically all of the hooks for all of these missions. So that way I can just sort of like, especially early on, I could just kind of roll a dice and see which one they hear about, right? And provide the rumor for them that way. So that's definitely an important part of it as well. The safe travel recommendations is more so about like, to let players know like, hey, you're not just going to, I don't want us to just time jump, 4 days to travel to this one place. There's a lot of world to explore, a lot of adventure to be had in the process of getting there. If all we ever do is jump to the session and fight the bad guys, we're not really playing much of a game, So, so the safe travel recommendations, usually what I'll do is like, I'm going to put down a list of like common monsters that they might encounter, so that way they can think about, okay, how are you going to handle this? Average distances to places, what the terrain is like. Okay, do you need climbing gear? Do you need do you need wagons or horses? What do you need for that kind of stuff? Yeah, fanboy. That's exactly it. Giving them tips for that kind of stuff, because a lot of players, like I say, they don't think about that stuff. They think about like, okay, we're in the dungeon. I want to go to that room and I want to fight this monster. But it's like there's a lot more adventure to be had, and players find a lot more satisfaction. I find, even if they don't realize they will, they find a lot more satisfaction when they really earn both finding the dungeon and then clearing the dungeon. Hey, Mr. Buddha, how's it going? So that's kind of what this part is here. And the other thing too is when I put in my wandering encounters, I might change that actually and just call it random encounters, because that would be a good place to also include a table like you're talking about, fanboy, of doing the rumors table and stuff like that. Those are really good, because rumors tables are incredibly helpful, and I'll probably even include like a bunch of fake rumors, right? Things that are just like red herrings, because it can be like, oh god, you hear a woman screaming in the street, what are you doing? It's like if they rush out to help her, it's like, oh yeah, she's just a crazy lady, there's nothing to do here. Because either it's a chance to add some humor and some levity to the situation, or players will just run wild with it, and if I'm ready to ad-lib, I can just make up something for them on the fly and be like, oh well, yeah, no, it turns out she's a cursed lady, but she like has knowledge of this evil thing that exists, right? And just kind of like, we'll just kind of do that, and then players will go with it and they'll just kind of make their own thing, and that's always hilarious to me. It's like, I mean, if you want to do my work for me, guys. Yeah, definitely, it can definitely be tough figuring out how to give players everything they need to survive what I've made. Hold on a second. My cat has been all over my lap, and there's cat hair everywhere because I did not brush her this morning. Because I hurt my leg yesterday, and I was lazy and did not go to the gym. And our routine is I go to the gym, I come back, and when I get back from the gym, I sit down, she comes up to my lap for some scritches and for a nice brushing, and we did not do that this morning. So now there's cat hair everywhere. Ah, boy. So safe travel recommendations. Let's see here. And this is kind of like an organic thing that I just sort of try to think about, what kind of monsters will be there. Like I say, what kind of monsters, what kind of travel. So let's see here. The wilds outside of Beppomet are not to be taken lightly. Lightly? Yeah, lightly. What kind of spelling was that? Litely? It's just, boy, oh boy, my English teachers, man, they'd be They'd be smacking me. They'd be smacking my knuckles with a ruler. You better believe. No, they wouldn't do that. I'm not old enough for that. Not old enough for corporal punishment in schools. That was not allowed. Rightly so. Hitting children is generally not a functional way to get through to them. You know, unless they're getting a little big for the britches, and then you just, you know, dust them up a little bit. But God, that'd be terrible. Wilds outside of Bephomet are not to be taken lightly. Though the proximity to the city does scare off most of the largest and scariest beings the wilds has to offer. You know, and so that's just adding some flavor to the concept of this is a campaign in a region designed for players level 1 through 10, right? So it's like they're not gonna encounter a Tarrasque, right? They're not gonna encounter an ancient dragon, but they could still encounter some. You know, they could still encounter a young dragon at some point in time. So stuff like that. You know, so as far as monsters go, in fact, you know what? I'm gonna put down. What do you got for me, fanboy? Convey the impressive heat and humidity of the area. Yeah, absolutely. Weather's an important one too. Not a good source of water. Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. Those are all important things. And that's kind of adding into what I was just thinking. I feel like there's, I can categorize a lot of these. So I'm going to bullet these lists just a little bit. And in fact, I'm going to make this just more functional. I'm not even going to make this super narrative. I want to do, yeah. So safe travel recommendations. We're gonna break it up to monsters, weather / nature, monsters, weather, nature, other dangers. You can say like landmarks maybe. Actually, you know what we'll do? We'll do weather, and we'll do landscape. There we go. Monsters, weather, landscape. I don't know. Is there anything else that I'm forgetting as far as like a potential danger for traveling goes? I mean, distance is kind of there, but that really is covered by like landscape. If you've got a long distance over water or whatever. Yeah, it kind of covers it, right? Hostile flora and or fauna. That's fair. That's fair. Monsters. Let's do that. Let's do monsters. Well, I guess that kind of fits into landscape, though, doesn't it? Like, if we do the landscape and then we do a sub-bullet of, like, we can do like, physical, just like the physical landscape, and then we can add, plants, right? I guess we'll call it flora, because that sounds more scientific and professional. So like the physical landscape, talking about like this area would be like the San Serengeti rivers, if there are rivers or anything like that. So physical map, flora, and that kind of covers it. So for weather, we can kind of do common weather, and then I'm thinking to do maybe not storms, maybe sort of like dangers. So like the common daily weather in this area, it's hot, dry landscape, typically a pretty oppressive sun, but then the dangers are like, you know, particularly hot days or big storms that come in off the coasts. Magical and fantastical weathers are a good one as well, but that almost would go down under magic and oddities. That's like more to the point of because in magic and oddities, I'll add in like really strange things that are known to happen but are super uncommon within a region. And so things like it's not uncommon for there to be a big flash storm, and like that will fall under magic and oddities because it's like that's due to the blue dragon that lives in the area. But you're not wrong, fanboy. That's definitely stuff that I add. Monsters. I think monsters doesn't even need multiple bullet points. That's just it. One or two types of hazardous weather events that could occur in this region. Like in this region, like I say, I'm thinking, you know, you could definitely have some big storms coming in off the coast. You could definitely have particularly hot days, like even for an already hot environment, if you have like heat waves coming in, dust storms would be good ones to pop up, and those are things that then I could transfer into the wandering encounters, stuff like that. Yeah. So for the monsters, we can do actually, here's what we'll do: daily travel. Oh, here we go. Monsters, day travel, night travel. Oops. Night travel, and then we can do unique encounters, right? So it's just like, so the day travel is like during the day, it's well known that you'll encounter lions. You know what? Dang it! I'm just gonna mess with my O key here really quickly. It's been sticking on me lately. Come here, you little bastard. Don't mind all those O's. We'll be changing all those. Oh, I see what the problem is. It's kind of popping out of its slot here. Hold up. I gotta do some keyboard doctor stuff here. I might be pressing a whole lot of extra buttons, a whole lot of extra O's there. How are we looking there? Get in there, you little goober. There we go. There we go. Alright, I think that got it. That will hopefully get it. Haha, we are on the same page, fanboy. Absolutely doing day and night encounters. Absolutely, we are on the same page. Come on, you doofy box. Close up. Oh, shit. Got to put the tool back in the box. There we go. Lion Zoo. I'm leaving it. No, I'm not. That'd be ridiculous. Alright, there we go. Hopefully that will solve my sticky O problem there. It's been driving me bananas. Okay, let's see here. Day travel. Lions. As far as dangerous animals go too, because it's like safe travel recommendations, there are going to be a lot of other animals that could be encountered, and that might be in the wandering encounters, like encountering a herd of camels or something like that. But as far as dangers go, during the daytime, lions will be the big ones there. And then by sea, let's see here. No dangers by sea is what I'm going to say there, because we have a lot of water in this region, obviously, so we have to kind of think about that as well. Damn it. Now my I key looks goofy because I bumped it while I was screwing around with my O key. Hold on. See, this is the danger of getting involved in custom keyboards and keycaps and all that shit, because now you get obsessive over it, right? Okay, hold on. I think that might... Let's see if that made a difference there. Are we still functional here? Okay, I is functional. Put the keycap back on it. Yeah, that's a bit better. Might just need to file it down a little bit. I had picked out exactly the or the switches that I wanted for my keyboard, and so I ordered them, but they're just a tiny fraction off in terms of size. For my keyboard, so I had to file them down a little bit, and some of them I did a better job than others to get them into size and shape. So some of them are a little wonky, but hey, it feels really good. They look a little off, but it feels much better. Anywho, no dangers by sea. Oh yeah, like doing multiple rolls as opposed to like just one big 1d20 roll or something like that, where you can have, like, it really does. It adds a whole lot of, exactly like you're saying, it adds nuance. And like the thing about it too is it really it doesn't just add to the randomness, it multiplies by it, right? So if you have 2d6s, it's not 12 options, it's 36 options, right? Because you multiply them. So I love doing stuff like that. And I've been thinking too with like the Wandering Encounters, you know, I have been thinking like along those lines, for the Wandering Encounters, what might be fun to do is do daily and nightly like random stuff. And so rather than just having like 20 encounters figured out, kind of like I've got outlined here, maybe we can play around with that once I kind of get this stuff mapped out, and just do like, you know, like what kind of weather they encounter, what kind of, you know, like what kind of weather it's going to be that day, what kind of wild creatures they might run into, and then maybe even a third one where it's like, is there going to be any sort of magical unique event? And you just sort of like pre-plan all of those potentialities, right? And you do, and like we say, if we do 3d6 tables, that's all it takes. 3d6, right? So 6 times 6 is 36 times another 6, you know, like, holy shit, we got a lot of random stuff going on there. And so no day would really look the same when they're traveling, and that's a really fun way to do it. So that's a good idea. That's a good idea we came up with there. Not to toot our own horn, but beep beep. Okay, so night travel, hyenas, hippos, things like that, because we're talking about like a Serengeti type of environment. Hyenas and hippos are definitely the big ones in this area. You know what would also be actually fun? Lions. Let's do lions, and let's do elephants. Elephants can be brutal. I'm gonna put elephants here as well. And you know what? Fuck it, lions. They might be out for a night hunt. Who knows? By sea, risk of a sea monster or 2. You know, just average encounters. It's whatever. I mean, who doesn't run into the occasional kraken when they're out for a nice midnight sail? I mean, I know I've been there. Okay, and I can't be the only one. I mean, you guys know what I'm talking about. Unique encounters. So could cross paths with Blue Dragon, as is part of one of our missions there. Could the other thing that is the other monsters that are around are the oh shit, what are they called? The frickin' snake people. Fuck. What the hell were they called? UNT, that's what it is. The UNT may encounter UNT, right? Because they're all over the region now. Thanks to that one guy who thought he was going to get rich, found a temple, and kind of awakened a cult, as happens from time to time. Unique encounters, stuff like that. Honestly, when it comes to monsters, I don't know if there's a whole lot else that I would really be interested in adding. Weather. Whoops. No, I did not want to highlight that. Hold on. Undo. Gosh dang it. So common weather. Actually, no, I'm not even going to make that have more bullets. We're just going to say common weather. Typically, days are hot and dry. By the coast, there is a steady wind that comes off the ocean. Because there's not a whole lot else that goes on. Like that's the baseline. But then the dangers, we can add more. We can do heat waves. We can do storms. Storms off. Damn it. Storms from off the coast. Wow, my fingers are not working for me right now. It's because my hands are cold. Could have some storms from off the coast would be good. I'm trying to think about if there would be any other dangers. Oh yeah, we had talked about there could be dust storms, and I think that still stands. Dust storms. Yeah, so physical landscape, flat, dry, mostly dirt and grass, few trees, mostly towards Twads, Baston, mostly towards the coast with that, right? Few trees mostly towards the coast. we'd find more trees, because as you get more inland, that's where they get closer to the desert. That's a different region, but is kind of in there, in that area. Physical. Oh, there can be, can do rivers and oases. Is that? Yeah, okay. Rivers and oases, like, rather than oases. Yeah, oases. Rivers and oases dot the landscape. Don't tell me you're gonna start sticking there, P. Oh man, I should have never messed with the O. I should have left the O as it was. I've opened up Pandora's box, and now all the keys are gonna bother me, and I'm gonna have to fix all of them. Shouldn't have done it. Shouldn't have done it. Flora. We do have here infrequent trees, mostly trees like the baobab trees. Is that how you spell it? No, it's baobab. It's mostly like nope, I guess I don't know what I'm talking about. Baobab, that's what it is. The baobab. Mostly like the baobab trees. Mostly like baobab trees and the like. Right, so there's trees there. Let's see here. Lots of dry grasses in this area. Any other noticeable plants? Oh yeah, there was one thing that I had put in here that I had liked. This was in the old version of it. Where did I put it? There's on land. That's in. I think this is the area that I was looking for. Counters at sea. Don't need to worry about that. Where did I have all this stuff? I don't know, whatever. We'll just come up with a new name. Fuck it. I don't want to sit here and search for it for ages. Because I had an idea. There's sort of, and this kind of goes into Magic and Oddities. I had kind of just created like these flower fields that like occasionally at night while players are camping, they might encounter the oddity of there being like a field of flowers that like spring up, bloom at night, and then are dead by the morning, right? And they have some minor healing powers and stuff. It's sort of the idea that I'd had, and I could kind of stick with that if I wanted to. I mean, that's not a bad idea, but that might fit more under Magic and Oddities, truthfully. Lots of dry grasses. Here's what we'll say. We'll say few flowering plants, those that do bloom. Those that do bloom tend to be bright, and we'll say bright and fragrant, and we'll say both beautiful and putrid to attract insects for pollination. So it's like they could come across like very sweet smelling flowers, or flowers that like the one flower, the corpse plant, where it's the huge flower and it smells like rotting meat to attract bugs and stuff. I got to see one of those one time. It's really cool. It was very stinky. It was a little stinky. So Magic and Oddities here. So yeah, that's a good amount of stuff, right? And so that's just good ways to sort of inform players. So if they're thinking like, oh, well, what do we need to prepare? I can just say like, well, you guys know from living in the region that you should expect this, that, or the other thing. And I think that ends up working pretty well to just sort of provide them that sort of information. So for our Magic and Oddities, so this is where I sort of like to add notes about some particularly unique things, and we can make this a bulleted list as well. And I try to, again, this is geared more towards when they're traveling. So yes, there's a magic. It's magical and odd when there's like rips and tears in reality that exist in this region, but those are all tied into missions. So I'm not gonna put that info here because I want that info to go more towards ouch, oh golly, okay, sorry, adjusting my leg. Oh, I'm in pain. So I like to gear this more towards just when they're traveling, because there is plenty of information going to be on the specific pages for all of these things when we get there. So yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and just do magic and oddities. So for this one, what was I talking about? So like this is where we can say, let's see here, we'll call them moonflowers. I don't know. That's how people named a lot of things back in like medieval times, right? Like, oh, it looks like this thing. It looks like the moon. It's the moonflower. Or in this case, oh, it only blooms when there's a full moon. So we'll call them moonflowers. So we'll just call these moonflowers. Occasionally at night. Fields of moonflowers will, let's see, occasionally at night, we'll say night when there's a full moon, and we can make that a, like a random encounter, because even though the full moon wouldn't be random, players aren't going to really be paying attention to the moon cycles, so we can just make it random, and they'll be like, oh wow, it's a full moon tonight. Fields of moonflowers will bloom for one night only. Players can harvest the flowers for use in making healing potions. So I like to have, I have a lot of sort of homebrew rules that I like to incorporate into my games that talk about, that incorporate a lot of different crafting and enchanting mechanics. And so I like to, with the crafting too, I like to have it be like, hey, you can go scavenging and you can find this, that, or the other thing while you're out traveling, and you can use that to then make, this, that, or the other thing. Excuse me. So it's like you add the moonflowers, and if anyone has a high enough, survival skill or something along those lines, then you have them know exactly what those are and be like, oh yeah, I know what these are, and then, they can have success in making, brewing some potions of their own if that's what they want to do with them. So we can do stuff like that. Magic and oddities. Moonflowers can pop up. And I'm honestly, I don't have anything clearly in mind that I want to add to that right now, but we can always add to that later. So I'm going to, do that later, and I'm going to rename this to, we'll call it, what do I want to call this? Because it's not really wandering encounters. It's more so like a daily, that's what we'll call it. We'll call it daily roll tables, right? Daily, which is what we're going to do, daily, nightly roll tables. Because that's usually what I like to do with my players when they're traveling. I'll roll on a random table and say, like, okay, today is, this thing happens, and so it's like, that's kind of what the weather is. And that can include a lot of just, like, chill days without a whole lot going on. Nothing wrong with that. And what I'm thinking I want to do, and here's how we're going to do it. I'm going to get rid of this. Yeah, I'm going to get rid of that. We're just going to experiment with this, because if I decide I want to go back to the system I've been using, I can always pull up the template and recopy and paste it. And that's one of the values, that's one of the reasons why I really value having these templates over here. I really think they're handy. Composition should be as follows. Well, that's just my daily, nightly roll tables. So I'm going to insert a table here, and I'm going to do 3. I want to do 3. Ultimately, I want to do 3 by 11. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 10 for each thing. We're gonna have monsters, landscape, and so do I want to do we're gonna do monsters, weather, and then like magic and oddities, and we'll just have like an even less common table with like like an even thinner table of like magical events. So we'll do, we're gonna call it creatures. Well, I want that one bolded. Creatures. Creatures, weather, and then this one we'll call that special events. And what I want to do is I want to have, like I say, I want each of these to be. Can we insert another row? If I do, I want another row added here. There we go. Okay, so we can add another row. But I also want this to go back down. How do I? Dang it! I need a space. It's gonna go down. Wait, hold on. Maybe I can just grab it and move it. Fuck it. There we go. There we go. There. Okay, we got it. I needed my format. Damn it. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oops, no. 10, and 11. There we go. That's how I want it. Because what I'm going to do is I'm thinking we're going to come up with 5. For each of these, we'll come up with 5. And then 5 kind of unique things. And then 5 things where it's just like no encounter or just like mundane daily travel. Because I'm not opposed to travel even the entire way, just being smooth sailing and no big deal. But I'm not opposed to that, but I don't want that to be guaranteed. But if they roll it and they just have a quiet trip, then hey, they have a quiet trip. Nothing wrong with that. So, creatures here. Well, what I'm going to do with these two is, because I want these tables to be applicable to a wide range of levels, right? And so I don't want to get too caught up in, oh, it's like 3 adult lions and 2 young lions to make it this difficult. Instead, what we're just going to do is creatures. We're going to say lion pride. So they come across they see off in the distance, or their path crosses that of a pride of lions that they have to figure out, right? Daily, nightly tables. Hold on, we're going to do this, and we're going to call this one daytime land, because I'm going to have to also do ones for sailing, right? And just because I can, I'm going to make this look nice and pretty. Heading 4, I'm going to do that. Boom. There we go. It's thematic. It looks a bit more beautiful. We'll just do that too. Make it a bit more space, make it just a bit more visually appealing, right? I want to enjoy looking at this. I'm going to spend so much time doing it. So we've got the lion pride. During daytime, we can say camels. Like maybe they'll encounter a bunch of camels. Camels are around in that area. Let's see here. And so like it's certainly within this landscape there are a lot of there are a lot of other creatures like hippos and like very charismatic ones that they might encounter, but it's like hippos are obviously going to be near the water, and so that doesn't really fit with the random thing. And instead, if I want hippos to be incorporated in some of the more detailed like areas that we add information, that's where I think that we can put stuff like that when we're describing that specific landmark, that specific area. At any rate, so with other creatures, and they don't even have to necessarily be potentially dangerous things either. It can just be 100% for flavor. So they've got lions, they've got camels. We can also do elephants. Right, so those are there. It can also be a large herd of like antelope. Not exactly antelope, but you know what I mean. What else? what other creatures might I run into? Trying to draw on like when I was living in Africa, not living, but well, kind of living. I spent a month studying abroad in Africa, and so we were kind of camping more so than I guess I wouldn't say I was living in Africa, but I spent a month camping in Africa. I'm trying to think about what other things we would see on a day-to-day basis. It was just a lot of, more than anything, it was a lot of like, things like this. Yeah, things like the antelope. We saw puku and kudu all day long. Got sick of seeing them almost. They were like, here where I live, it's just white-tailed deer are everywhere. They're pests, and that's like what it was around there. We could add like water bison or something like that, water buffalo. But then again, that's gonna be kind of more like near water. What we'll do? We'll just do warthogs. Like maybe they just cross paths with a bunch of warthogs, and maybe the warthogs are vicious and attack. I'm like, who freaking knows? And then we'll have a whole lot of nothing, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1. Just copy 2. No. 3, 4, 5. Oops, I have an extra line here that we don't need. Boom, there we go. Okay. So there's our 10 by 10. So there's our 10 creature things. And so it's like, just kind of like what we were saying before, it's really fun to have these tables, because now you got to think about, like, it's not just like a D20 or something like that, where eventually you will get re-rolls and things will be repetitive. Now we've got, 10 options, and each one of those have 10 more. So now we're up to 100, and then each of those have potentially 10 more. Right, so there's 1,000 different possible combinations. Some of them might end up being the same because we have a whole lot of options for nothing. But that's kind of just how you add the stuff there, where it's just like, it's just a normal day. So for this we'll just do common. For the weathers, the 5 ones are going to be common weather. Your daily, usual, routine weather. Come on, click on it. There we go. There we go. So the common weather. But then we can also do some sort of random days. So we can do rare cloudy day, right? So there's not a whole lot going on. We can do rare rainy day. We can do big storm, right? You can have something like that, just a big storm. We can do, well, heat wave is going to be more like a special event, I think. Or do I? I suppose not. I suppose special events is going to be more so for like really unique magical oddities and stuff like that. Is where I think I want to put those. Yeah, so we'll do big storm. We'll do dust haze, right? So it's like there's just like a hazy, dusty day. And then what's another one? Actually, you know what? Well, so this is the tough part, right? Sometimes you hit a block and you just gotta think about something. Rare cloudy day, rare rainy day, big storm, dust haze, right? So it's like kind of that hazy dust, and we can just do a dust storm, right? So it's like, there's just days when there's like, it seems extra dusty, and then there's days when there's like a full blown, you see the frickin' dust bowl coming in. That kind of stuff. Special events. Again, we're going to have a whole lot of nothing here. So what I'm going to do for this is I'm going to... No. Gosh dang it. I don't know formatting why it does that to me. For some reason it doesn't click on the next one down. What I'm just going to do is I'm just going to put down like all these nothings, because then I can refill them in if I come up with things later on. But we'll have a maximum of 5, and what I'm thinking here is we'll do one of these ones. I'm going to say, you know what we'll do? We'll say cross paths with other actually, we're just gonna say cross paths with mission enemies / actors, right? So it's like I want. Hey, welcome back, Spooky. Um, so I want to have, um, like I say, this is meant to be a sandbox, and I want them to encounter a lot of these, a lot of the stuff that we've already mapped, and even not necessarily even when they're in close proximity, like walking right over top of it, right? So if we put in our random table, oops, that's not the one I wanted. This is the one I wanted. If we put it in the random table, where it's just they could possibly run into any of the actors from those other ones, I can just look at where they are on the map and say like, oh, okay, so they're kind of near this area, so maybe they encounter this character from that whole thing, and they can do an interaction with that character, and then like, oh, suddenly they've been hooked into, they've got a new mission they can think about, right? And there's sort of an organic hook for them, things like that. So that's always a good one. That encompasses a lot of the potential special events. I'm trying to think, and I don't know that there's a whole lot else that can happen at the nighttime or at the daytime. Everything else is going to be nighttime. Daytime, nighttime. Um, so yeah, and honestly, I think that's a perfectly fine table right there. Like I said, this is a random event table, and I like there being a whole lot of opportunity for that, for there to not be much while they're traveling. Um, you know, it makes, because if every day of travel has something weird and exciting, it feels too convenient. It'll feel too convenient for the players. So I like there to always be the chance, like a perfectly reasonable chance for there to be really nothing special happening. Um, so yeah. So next up, so next we're gonna go on to the nighttime one, but I am actually going to take just like a quick 5 minute break. I'm gonna refresh my beverage, and I'm going to adjust my my cold pack that I've got on my leg, the cold compress that I've got, because it is definitely warmed up and it's not doing as much. So really, more than anything, it's just a tight compress. It's cutting off circulation. So I'm gonna take like 5 minutes, adjust that stuff, get myself comfortable again, and then I will be back and we will continue working on this. So hang tight. I will keep this as quick of a break as possible. Alright, I am back. Thank you for holding tight there. Oh, golly. Golly, my leg is just not functioning right today. Whew. Okay. Alright, where were we? What the hell was I doing? Thanks, Bard. Appreciate it. Let's see, what the hell was I doing? Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay, so we're working on our tables here. Working on our tables. It's not a beer, it's just a cherry Coke. I ain't getting drunk on screen for you guys. Let's see here. So we need to do night. Does nighttime have 2 T's? Yeah, nighttime by land is what we need here. So now we're gonna insert another table, 3x8, and we'll just add more when we need to. So again, creatures, weather, and special events. Oops, I need to bold that though. Special events. So for our creatures here, again, we can have the potentiality for them to run into lions. We're going to do hyenas this time. Hyenas. Again, there can be elephants around. They're not as likely to run into like all of the antelope and all that kind of stuff, so we're not going to worry about those ones. Oof. Oh boy. I'm feeling the stiffness in my ribs. Boy, oh boy. I am just a frickin' mess today physically. Holy crap. Holy camole. Lions, hyenas, elephants. I don't know. What are some other nighttime things they might run into? Fuck. Shit. I mean, honestly, it's not gonna be that much of a problem. We just add like more nothings. Because the fact is, there might not be a whole lot that's active at night. And gosh dang it, the stupid one note. When I click on it, I want you to go down to the next one when I click on it. Dang you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We need 3 more. 8. No, don't. Give me that. 8. No. Okay, it needs something there, otherwise it thinks I'm trying to format away from it. 8. No. I don't know how to make it behave consistently. It's like it makes up rules about what is supposed to happen for the formatting. It's like sometimes it just creates a whole new row. Sometimes it doesn't create a new row. Sometimes it just expands the row that I'm already working on. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We want one more. Alright. There we go. Okay, so there's those, because I can always add more stuff later too, right? Like this can be a fluid process. This doesn't have to be get it all right this time. That's kind of one of the beautiful things I think about doing homebrew is you can just like edit it as your ideas change as well as the campaign changes. I mean, for me, that's one of the reasons why I much prefer leading a homebrew session than even necessarily following a pre-planned thing. Because while a pre-planned module definitely takes a lot of work off my shoulders, the fact is it's really hard for me to be flexible with the campaign and make it feel more organic, right? Because you're kind of forced to lead players. Like whenever I'm doing a module, it's always hard for me to know when, like, okay, can I ad-lib this? Or if I ad-lib them and let them kind of wander away from the thing, are we going to end up in a scenario where we just are so far removed that we can't continue the campaign, right? You know, how do I reel that in? Whereas if it's just homebrew, I can just be like, oh, they wanted to go that way and encounter that thing. I don't have anything planned, but fuck it. I know, you know, and that's where like these region notes come in so handy, because it's like, well, I know what the region's like. Let's just make something up as we go. So, I don't know. Anyway, rant aside, what kind of weather? Honestly, the weather can all just be the same. I'm just going to copy this. There can be the same types of weather day or night. Oh, that's not how I wanted that to happen. Damn it! Shit! That's not going to work, is it? Alright, well, we'll just have to type it in, count, and copy it. Rare, cloudy day. Rare, rainy day. Big storm. Dust, haze. Dust haze. And then dust, storm. And then our common weather. Copy that, and we paste it, and we go down, and then we paste it, and then we go down. OneNote, keep up with me. Keep up with me, OneNote, you're so slow. Oh, it's because it's trying to sync. You guys can't see it because my beautiful face is in the way, but it's because OneDrive is constantly trying to sync up. That's why it's getting goofy. And now my cat's freaking out because it's windy outside. Oh, she's off. So I wish I had like a quicker, easier way to have like an action cam for you guys. She's running laps right now. She's being a psycho. God, I love that cat. She cracks me up. All right, at night. Again, there's always the possibility that they could cross paths. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. And then I don't know why it just did that. I don't want you to do that. All right, and then the other thing that I want to do is the moonflower field, right? Like I was talking about up there, moonflower field, just because that's fun and exciting for them. It's like, yeah, and so it's like, and that's where a lot of this kind of fun stuff comes into play here. Like when we do the unique encounters, like I said, could cross paths with Blue Dragon, may encounter the UNT. But actually, those things, I don't even know if I want to put those in there. I'm gonna take those off of there, right? Because like this is meant to be sort of a table that I can sort of read off of as basic survival knowledge that players might know when they're preparing to go out into the wilds. And those are specific things to some of the missions, and so I kind of don't want to provide that as part of that because it's kind of a spoilery thing, and that's kind of what's being covered with the cross paths with the mission enemies, right? Because the idea is if we roll up and that's what happens for a special event, I will then take a look at our map here and see, you know, excuse me, for example, if they were like, oh yeah, if they're working on the Yuan-Ti Temple one and they're making their way up to here or something like that, and they come across, you know, and they're kind of going along, like say they're trying to go to that one, right? And they're coming up along here where this mill is. Well, that's one of the places, that's one of the landmarks where they run into the Summer Eladrin as part of that little mission. So maybe the encounter then is they do that. Or maybe they're just going to this one and they're kind of near the coast and suddenly a big giant storm comes ripping through, and that storm is actually associated with the Blue Dragon, right? I had that happen to my players while they were sailing across here. They just sort of randomly rolled up on one of the tables, and I had them encountering, you know, just something weird and unique. So they encountered the Blue Dragon, and all it was is like this big storm came ripping across, and they had to navigate the ship through it. But the dragon didn't give two poops about them, so the dragon just kind of kept on going past them, and so they just had to survive like this really short squall, basically. And it was fun, and it was interesting, and it was world building. And now the players are aware, like, oh shit, there's a dragon around here, and you know that kind of made it fun for them, you know. And so that's something that they can. Holy crap, my cat is freaking the fuck out right now. I don't know what she's up to. She's going nuts. Look, she's off. God, she cracks me up. I don't have to worry about getting her exercise. She just makes her own fun. But yeah, so that's kind of what we have for our tables in. That kind of accomplishes what I wanted for those. We can just do, again, our nothings. And again, like as I'm coming up with more ideas, if I come up with an idea that's associated with something, or even if it's not, I can always come back here and add it, you know? Like, again, that's why I love doing homebrew, and why I encourage anyone who is a DM and has ideas, just go for it. Just go for it in homebrew, because it's so much fun, and you can come up with so many cool ideas. So now I want to quickly do some daytime and nighttime water, right? Because if we're looking at this region, half of the map is water, right? So there's going to be a lot of time when they might be traveling by sea. And so I want to have just some random tables ready to go. And like I say, don't ever be afraid if you're doing these random tables, don't ever be afraid to have even like an entire 5-day journey be nothing but nothings, right? It can be just like a boring, uneventful thing. That's what will make these eventful travels memorable to players. You know, like I'll have a lot of sessions where players will have more fun with the travel process than they do with actually getting to their mission, just because cool shit happens when you're traveling, and it gets super exciting when it's not an everyday thing. When it's an everyday thing, that is almost worse, because not almost worse, it is worse, because then it starts feeling like it's mundane, and it starts feeling forced almost. Like, oh no, there's other monsters coming, you gotta fight them. Whereas it's like, you know, if they can be traveling, they can go 4 days, there's nothing, but then on day 5, suddenly they come across the Pride of Lions. Suddenly it's like, oh shit, that was a really unique event. That was something special and something fun for us. You know, or if they're going along and then suddenly, out of nowhere, like this big storm comes tearing through, then it's like, oh Jesus, that's a unique, fun thing. So, I don't know, don't ever be afraid of, you know, you don't want it to always be boring and blank, but don't be afraid to have plenty of breather as a way to sort of isolate and separate events, you know, to make big active days a more special event, right? Don't be afraid to let those be exactly that, a special event. Weather, and then got our special events. Oh, are we calm now? You come slinking out. Did you wear yourself out, little psycho? Sorry, you guys have to sit there and deal with me just being obsessed with my cat. She cracks me up though. This cat's the best. Adopting her was one of the smartest things I ever did when I moved to this city. I'll tell you what. Special events. Boom. Boom. And yes, I am well aware that I am a crazy cat lady, and I am A-okay with that. I'm 100% comfortable with that, aren't I? Oh, are you going to come over? Oh, do you want to snuggle? Is that what you want? Oh, she's going to say hi. There she is. No, I think we're going to go back to being crazy now. This is rapidly devolving into watch me watch my cat. She's off. Sorry, I'll focus. Okay, so when they're on the water, as far as encountering creatures, very little. And I think these special events, like I think almost any encounter is going to more likely be a special events type of thing. Although that said, I should probably put the animal things in the special events just because we don't want there to be every day a special event. So these ones, and really truthfully, all of these are, the way I'm describing it, all of these are special events, right? That's why there's not one for every single day necessarily. So what I want to do here, so creatures, so for in the daytime creatures, maybe they come across a pod of dolphins or something like that. There's not much to do. They wouldn't have to necessarily engage them, but they could. You know, maybe the druid wants to go full Animorph and just like jump in and swim with them or some shit. Like, I don't know. So pod dolphin. I'm gonna say pod of dolphins. I'm gonna do a whale, right? Maybe there's just like a big giant whale that breaches nearby. Pod of dolphins, whale. Yeah, I mean, do stuff like that. Oh, we can do flying fish. You know, maybe they come across a school of flying fish or something like that, and it just ends up being sort of this fun little thing. And it gives a way to break things up. Weather, I'm gonna do scorching day. Still winds is a good one, especially because that one can have impacts, right? And we'll say, and actually that's something that I wanted to do for these. Big storm, no travel, right? So like for some of these things, and like for the dust storm, no travel. I want there to be consequences for these things, and actually that's something that I think I want, because not just for flavor too. So cloudy day, we can do that. Faster travel, right? So it's like a cloudy day in a normally hot, normally a very hot environment, so they can travel faster. It's a better day for them to push the pace and make up some ground or something like that. On a rare rainy day, let's see here. We can say remove exhaustion if any, right? So it's like it's a refreshing rain or something like that. You know, you just do little things like that, and again, it'll make it a bit more interesting. Dust haze, risk of getting lost, right? And so for this one, like I like utilizing these all the time, right? Where they might get lost, like have them do a survival check or something like that, or a nature check to stay on the right path. Otherwise, they might get off the path and add time to their days, right? And so for this, for special events, actors, I want to do mission hook, right? So that's kind of the impact. So like the impact of creatures is obvious, right? Because it's just going to be like, do you engage them or do you avoid them? You know, it's up to the players. They can decide what they want to do for that. But these things can have actual tangible events, and that's how I like it. I like it to be that day. So rare cloudy, we're going to say rare cloudy night, obviously. I'm going to change these. I don't know why I left it as day. That was me not paying attention. Rare cloudy night. Let's see here. We're going to say well rested afterwards, right? So they can get some bonuses from that. Rare rainy night. I don't know that actually there would necessarily be anything bad about that other than just being uncomfortable. So big storm. And so for a big storm, if that comes up, I'm going to say no long rest unless handled, right? So unless they do something specific, there's no long rest for them, because it's a big storm. It disrupts their sleeping patterns. They're not able to rest properly. And I think that's a really good way to sort of impact it, right? And these are good ways to impact travel and make it more notable for players. And same with the dust storm. No long rest unless handled. And I just put down handled just to remind myself, like, it's not a steadfast thing. If they want to find some way to mitigate it, they can, and I should prompt them to do that too. It shouldn't just be like, oh, it's really dusty, you're all exhausted now. It's like, no, that's not really fair. Like, give them the chance to figure out how to handle it. Rare rainy night, we're gonna say for this one, I'm gonna say morale boost for inspiration maybe, or something like that, just to give myself an idea. Like, it's a rainy night right after traveling through some really tough environments, so it's like maybe there's a way for them to sort of take advantage, and someone can gain inspiration so that they're like, well, or like, you know, so that, because it wouldn't really be well rested if it's rainy. If anyone's who's camped in the rain, it's not wonderful really, unless you got the proper equipment for it. But if you got the proper equipment for it, the next morning could be quite refreshing, you know. So maybe, you know, there's like a morale boost, and I have them all roll a d20, and whoever has the highest gets inspiration, so they can, you know, they're just there. It's a good morning. They you know, they enjoyed the rain last night, something like that. Just a way, you know, it doesn't even always have to fully make sense. Just as long as you do stuff like that to spice it up. Players love that. Players absolutely love that. Dust haze, disadvantage on watch. So when there's a dust haze, right, and they can't really see anything, whoever's keeping watch is going to be at disadvantage of seeing those things. So there we go. So that adds a bit more information here. And so now I want to add our mission hook there for those special things. So let's see here. So back to this stuff. Pot of dolphins, whales, flying fish. Yeah, that's good. So scorching day. Sorry, I felt the belch coming. I didn't want to just rip it right into the mic there for you guys. Unless you guys are into that, but I don't know. I feel like that's a different website. I feel like that's treading on, like, you know, OnlyFans territory. I'm not sure I'm ready to, I'm not sure I'm quite desperate enough for that yet. I mean, we might get there, but I'm gainfully employed outside of this, so I'm not really hurting. But we'll see. I mean, I don't know. With the right money, I could do some pretty depraved things. I don't know. That conversation got weird. Moving on. So a scorching hot day. Let's see here. Work boat in shifts or else exhaustion, right? So it's a scorching hot day out there. They're going to be exhausted from all of the work it's going to take to keep things going. Still winds. With this one we're going to say no travel, right? No travel, unless they're specific, like explicitly in a boat that has rowing options. But then we can start looking at exhaustion for them and stuff like that, right? So that's a good one. Stowaways. What are some other unique stuff? Obviously, we can do big storm. And for this one, I want to do skill challenge, right? So they have to keep the boat afloat while there's like a big storm. And oops, and then I'm going to do the same thing for, we're going to say choppy seas. And again, we're going to do, well, actually choppy seas, maybe what we'll just do for choppy seas is we'll just do one of our risk of off course, right? So the seas are really bringing them off course or something like that, so they have to do some navigation to see if they stay on track, right? And so stuff like that, just to mix it up and make traveling a bit more potentially eventful for them. Special events here. So for this one, now for this region, I've already thought of some of these things. So this is stuff that I've already thought of ahead of time, and if I wanted to pull it up, I could find a lot of it in this old section that I've been kind of bouncing back and forth between. But what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna work on memory for it for what I'm feeling right now. So one of the things that I've done is, especially within the rules is written, the Tortle race is a very nomadic race. And so what I've kind of, in my headcanon, I haven't really taken the time to write it down because I haven't thought of exactly how it would work. But in my headcanon, the Tortles are kind of unique in this world of mine with the unhinging and the wilds and all of that, where they didn't go to a city. They largely didn't go to cities for refuge. Instead, they went to the oceans. And they've really just leaned into their nomadic lives. So there's always the chance that when you're on the ocean, you just like, either on the ocean or on like freshwater or whatever, it doesn't matter. I don't distinguish because that just gets a little too difficult to keep the lore functioning. It's just like they're intelligent. They know how to survive in salt and freshwater, whatever. At any rate, they really lean into the nomadic lifestyle. And so there's the chance when you're at sea that you'll just like come across a random turtle that's just out swimming, right? And that's just what they did. They took to the water to kind of go swimming. I think of them more as turtle folk than tortoise folk. Loose fit. But like that's just kind of in my head what I thought would be interesting. And I mean, it's just kind of fun. They just randomly will encounter, a turtle that's there swimming, and you can engage with them or you can just let him go on his way. So I'm gonna say turtle nomad, right, as one of the special events. The other ones is, again, we can definitely have our cross paths. It's not going to be, and this is something where me just sort of calling an audible might come in quite relevant doing this, because the fact is when they're on the ocean, there aren't going to be as many hooks for missions as there would be elsewhere, or on land, I should say. So if they've already encountered the dragon once or twice or something like that, it's like, if we roll this again, then we're going to skip it this time. Because I don't want it to become, again, we don't want the same exciting things to happen, because then the exciting things become mundane, and that leaves the game feeling kind of bland. So I don't want to oversaturate, but it's still something that can happen. And then for now, I am going to just do a whole lot of nothing. No, why would you? Why would you? Why is it doing that? I don't want that. Damn you! You just, like I say, it just like makes up rules for formatting sometimes. I don't understand it. There we go. Now it's behaving. Go. Let's see. That gives us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and that should give us 11 if I counted that right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh wait, but we don't want 11. Why am I being stupid right now? Jesus. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There we go. And then we're gonna do our nothings for here as well. No. I'm struggling, guys. I'm struggling right now. This is not smooth. It's a good thing I'm not doing like sitting here trying to teach people how to use Microsoft Office or some shit. That'd be embarrassing and not helpful. And then weather, so again, we're going to just do common for all of the weather events here. Come on now, come on. I don't understand why it does this. Fine, we'll use the arrow keys. Fuck you. Fuck you, Office. Use the arrow keys. I should have done that a long time ago. It's faster anyway. Jesus. Alright, and so now the last one we need to do is we want to do our nighttime by the ocean. Nighttime water. Nighttime. Nighttime. Water. Okay, insert our table. I said, there you go. Okay, there we go. Nighttime weather, again, we want creatures. Oops, no, that's not what I wanted to do. My bad. I wanted the B there for bold. Control B for bold. Makes sense. Creatures, weather. Nope. There's a tab button. And then special. Dang it. Dang it, now the P is sticking. Special events. Alright, so the weather is, again, it's going to be largely the same. Weather between day and night doesn't really change. There's, like, in a region, obviously, the weather has the potential to be the same, regardless of the time of day if you're in the same region. But creatures might be different. Less likely to see the dolphins, I would say. Maybe still a whale. So we'll still do that. Maybe still flying fish. Less likely, but maybe. And the other thing that I think would be cool, very, very picturesque, very movie magic style. Definitely not necessarily realistic. But we could say mantis. What would not mantis. Manta ray. Like the ray. What are they? What's a group of them called? A pod? A flock? A school? I'm gonna call it a school. That's probably not the common one, but who cares? So yeah, like maybe there's like a whole school of manta rays that flat by, and then the other one that's always fun and always picturesque. Although actually, I'm gonna put that in special events. Hold on, I'm gonna save it. I'm gonna save it for special events, and then I think the rest can just be nothings. So with these again, we've got. Okay, this is gonna definitely be one that will pay off to just copy and paste it. Rather than trying to. I think actually all of them will just do that. Because it's so quick and easy. It's really not a big deal to take the time to do it this way. Boom. Special events. Again, we can do a turtle nomad. No, come on. Come on, behave. There we go. Turtle nomad. Cross paths. And now for the special events, so one of them that I was thinking, luminous plankton, right? You get those like the glide up. It's like the auroras only in water. Luminous plankton. Harvest for potions. I don't know what they'll do in the potions yet. We'll think about that one, and I'll come up with an idea. But that'd be pretty cool, right? So that they can try and find a way to harvest some of them. Maybe there's like a magical, like we're talking about a world of magic. Maybe you can make like a potion of like dark vision or something like that because it like lights stuff up. I don't know. Fuck it. Like we can figure it out. But yeah, we'll do that. Luminous plankton. There was something else I had thought of. What else was I gonna think of? I thought I had thought of something. It's a lot of thinking in that sentence. I thought I had thought of something. I thought that I had thought of something, but I guess I thought wrong. Try and untie that knot. Oh boy. I don't know. I'll think of it. And we'll add it later. But for now, let's add our nothings here. And we need to add some more rows here, don't we? We've got 1, 2, 3. We've got 7, 8, 9, 10. Oops. Just go start us up here. Okay, fine. God, I don't understand why it doesn't let me click on them half the time. It's really aggravating. Truth be told, I'm ever so gradually losing my cool, and one of these days I'm just gonna lose it. I'm gonna go insane, and I'm gonna flip the desk. Just everywhere. Everything's gonna go everywhere. I'm gonna break everything, and I'm gonna regret it immediately afterwards because there's a lot of expensive equipment on here, and I'd be sad if it was gone. But it's gonna happen. Actually, I doubt it will. I tend to have a pretty under control temper. Tend to. Everyone has weak times. Oh boy. Okay, there we go. So there's our roll tables, right? Easy to use. And like I say, the thing that's cool about these is there's plenty of events for there to be nothing, and plenty of potentiality for a lot of stuff to happen. I can always add more stuff. And the other thing that's fun about it is there are basically 1,000 potential events. So it is a 1 in 1,000 chance that we'll get exactly the same exciting thing, right? There's obviously more than an 1,000 chance, right? There's half that much of a chance, because half of them for all of these really are, like, well, I should say half for at least one. These ones a bit more often. Not going to be a whole lot traveling by boat. Excuse me. But, ooh, you know what would be a fun special event here? I just thought of something. Passing another ship, right? They're going along and then pass another ship. Passing another ship. Would there be any? I mean, that'd be kind of interesting. I'm gonna just leave that blank there, and it's just up to the players to decide what that means for them. Passing another ship. There we go. Cool. Cool. That gives us some tables. What time is it? What am I doing on time? Oh shit! I've already been going for almost 2 hours here. Where does the time go? Where does the time go? Made some good progress though. Look at all this stuff we've written today. That's some good progress. And then here's all of our outlines. Made some real good progress. I'm content with that. I'm really content with that. I'm gonna do a little bit more, but I don't know. I've got maybe about 15 minutes left in me. Yeah, we can do like 15-20 more minutes or something. The question becomes, of what though? What do we do? What do we do this time? Because I don't know that I'm ready to dive into really getting super detailed with a lot of these things here, right? With all these stories. I'd like to start diving into the details of that when I have more time, so that way I can just sort of follow the same train of thought in organizing all of it in one, at least, you know, like, even if I don't finish, especially with these longer ones, even if I don't finish it in one session, doing all of these details, because each of these 10 story beats, right, each of these 10 events within a mission, within this one mission, will have its own dungeon, right? So that's 10 dungeons to design. So it's unlikely I would finish one of these in a single stream. But I'd like to get more than just like writing a paragraph on one of them and moving on. So I'm wondering if... So the first thing I'm wondering here is if I need to save anything from here, or if I'm done using this old part. I think I can get rid of this. I think I don't need this really anymore. So I'm going to take this, and I'm just going to put this back into the old section. We're just going to put it up there. It's not where it belongs in it, but it's the old atlas, and I'm not that worried about it. So we're just going to move that out of the way. So now we can take this and get rid of rewrite, because this is now our official one. So there we go. So this is good to go. I'm wondering, you know, it might be a good idea. So here's the one struggle that I have, and I got to think about how to handle this, because as you can see by the way I've got all this laid out, I am really big on organizing all of this stuff. You can see with all of these tabs here, within each tab there's layers of pages and stuff. I am an absolute madman when it comes to organization. The problem with OneNote is, excuse me, they only let you do 3 layers, like three layers for the pages. You can have one, you have your main page, and then you have one subset and 2 subsets, but they won't allow me to move that one further, any of these further in. And the reason that's a tough thing for me to try and figure out as far as my organization goes, is I would like to be able to do, like we have our cities here, but then for a mission, do like within this, do like, a page at this level that matches these, where it's just like we have sort of, again, we kind of copy and paste, if we're in here, copy and paste our generalized outline, and then and then a subpage, one more layer of subpage after that is where I can do the specifics for a given dungeon. And the reason that I would love to do it that way is just so that way this one page for this one mission that's like 10 beats long no, I don't, go away. Don't do reminders. Don't make me look like a fool. God, you ruined my train of thought. Right, I don't want, like this, if I do a full dungeon for each of these 10 beats, like each of these 10 story events, these story beats, that's going to be a huge page, and it's going to be very cumbersome to have to scroll through and work with. Especially if I want to have even just a small copy of whatever the dungeon map ends up being, even if I just have a small copy for it, right, on the side, even if they're just small image versions. So I got to think about that. I want to think about how I want that to be organized. I might have to just do it as one big page for each mission. Like I say, the cities are easy. Wondering if, hold on, there might be an idea. Might be an idea. Thinking. I could do it where I just have a big, long, seemingly endless list where it's just all of the locations and dungeons and stuff for each one. Like for every mission, just like at this level, I do every location. So we start with the cities, and then we go with all of the different locations, and just organize it by like difficulty level or something like that, right? So we've got all of these, like all of the level 1s or something like that, and just do all the level 1s and all the level 2s. I could just do it that way, and then below that, on the same level, it could be, then I do all of the like missions, right, and do like a detailed mission outline or something like that, where it's like I take all of this, expand on it even more, and then just reference, like, see this location for that type of stuff. I could do it that way, because you can do internal links within OneNote. You can have links, like I could set it up so if I have a separate page for the river mill here or something like that, I could turn that into like a link, like a hyperlink, that I then click and it will take me to the right page. So I could do it that way and let the links organize it. Hey Spooky, I'm working on right now. I'm really just trying to think about how I want to organize this, because I'm out of layers for my pages the way OneNote has it all structured, and so I'm trying to think about how I want to organize it so it doesn't get too cumbersome. And that's why, the other thing, I'll have to think about that. I'll have to think about that for a spell. I think I like the idea, though, of doing, like, safe places like the city, right? Safe places that, like, safe, sane locations, and then moving on to like all of the dangerous locations and just listing all of these out as their dungeon component parts. Oh boy, excuse me. And then doing the mission outlines where there are the links. Hell, I wouldn't even necessarily need to do separate mission outlines per se. Like, I've got the mission outlines here, and so I could just click on the link for whatever players need, you know. And because the thing is too is I also keep all of my session notes in this same notebook, so that way to link wherever players leave off, I could just make sure and leave a link to whatever page they leave off on, so I can remember where players left off, even though things are so scattered. I feel like I'll have to think about that one for a bit, though. I feel like I'm not ready to make a determination on that. Yeah, I think I'm going to think about that. And actually, you know, I'm looking at my time, and I'm thinking maybe this is an okay stopping point for today's stream, honestly. Because I don't know that I'm in, you know, after creating, you know, we outlined and organized a whole lot of stuff here today. I mean, we pretty much prepped the whole thing, the whole just traveling thing. So I think that's a good place, because I'd rather, oops, it's not storms, it's storms. Hold on, storms. There we go. Yeah, so I think I'd rather do that. I think I'd rather call it a stream. It's kind of an abrupt end there, but I'd rather do that than present garbage, if that makes sense. You know, like if I'm flexed out, you know, having done as much creativity as I can muster for the day, I think I'd rather leave you guys off and let myself just kind of recover and brainstorm, and then we'll come back on Monday and we'll hit the ground running on doing whatever I come up with next. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. So sorry to end it a little abruptly there, but I think this has been a very productive session, and I've had a good time. It's been very good. I think there's a lot of creative people that come up with a lot of creative ideas that they share, and I love that. So I love streaming this, honestly. I really love streaming these D&D stuff, like when I'm just writing. It's been a really fun way to sort of be able to brainstorm and just chat with people about stuff. So thank you to everyone who stopped by. This is a good time. It's a really good time. And I appreciate everyone who comes by. And if anyone's watching the VOD at this point in time, like if anyone's been watching the VOD, I appreciate the support, even if you're not here live. But either way, again, thank you so much for watching. Coming up, tomorrow is Saturday, right? Yeah, tomorrow's Saturday. And I am planning on streaming. I have not decided if I'm going to stream any writing or if I'm going to stream. I've been doing a playthrough of Dishonored. I haven't decided which one I'm going to stream tomorrow. I'm definitely planning on streaming. Unless something changes, I'm definitely planning on streaming. And, I mean, hell, I could probably do both. It's a Saturday, and I've got nothing going on. It's like, why not? But, yeah, stay tuned for tomorrow. Probably around this same time. Midday is usually when I stream. So if you're interested, if you're available. Of course, I do not blame anyone for not stopping by on a Saturday stream. I mean, fuck, it's Saturday, right? We go out and we do stuff. So I would be perfectly happy if there was no one around, because you guys are out doing stuff, living life. Although that's kind of hard these days, what with, like, you know, a global pandemic and what have you. No big deal, but yeah, that'll be coming up tomorrow. And then next week, I haven't looked at my calendar specifically for next week, but as far as I know, next week I have the availability to stream all Monday through Friday, like I usually prefer to try to do. So you can look forward to that. You know, I do Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. I do these writing streams. So if you're into this writing, you can catch me then. I'm in the Eastern time zone, and I usually am on at around noon-ish. It just kind of depends on when I'm able to break for lunch, because I do it on my lunch period, because I'm working from home. So I just do it during my lunch. So around then, you know, if you're into this stuff, then come check it out. There's always more. Or if you're not able to see at that point, I always do upload the VODs. You can find them on my Twitch or my YouTube channel. You can find them in either place. I do not care. I don't have monetization or income wrapped up in either of them. So it's like, fuck, whatever works best for you. So those are options available to you. And then Tuesdays and Thursdays are when I do my gaming stream. Right now I'm going through Dishonored. Having fun with that one, trying to do a no-kill stealth low chaos run. Trying, not always succeeding. But yeah, that's what's coming up next week. So if you're of a mind, I always appreciate when people stop by. It's always so much fun to be able to chat with people while I'm doing these hobbies that I would normally be doing anyway. Like, that's the thing that's exciting and fun about streaming to me. Is like, I would do this anyway, but by doing it on Twitch, I get to share it with people who are also interested in it. And that's a lot of fun. I think that's a good time. I think it's fun to share ideas. I think it's fun to share jokes and chat with people. It's a good time. It's a really good time, and it's a cool way to stay connected with, like, humanity while we're still trying to navigate a pandemic-ridden world, right? I mean, things are hopefully getting better with vaccines and stuff going, and hopefully in the near future life will look a bit more normal than it has for a while. But for the time being, I think a lot of us are still feeling trapped, and this is just a really cool way for us to sort of reach out and, I don't know, just share interests with like-minded people. But at any rate, I'll stop waxing poetic about that. Thank you again. Thank you for stopping by. And as I close out, the final thing that I always finish with is I always ask anyone watching, whether it's live or you're just watching the VOD after the fact, when you're done watching this, go out and spend the rest of the day, or tomorrow if you're watching late at night, trying to make someone else's day better. The world is, as we just kind of discussed, the world's a rough place right now. Kind of always is, truthfully. There's always something going on. But, I mean, really, life is dictated, you know, the human experience is dictated by us. We get to decide what type of lives we live and how we influence the lives of others. And so if we would all just decide to live good lives and try to help other people live good lives, then I think we would probably see a lot of good things happening in the world. And there's really nothing stopping us from trying to pursue that goal except for us. So let's not stop ourselves, and let's go out and, you know, try and make someone else smile, try and make someone else's day better. I think that would be a cool way to live if we all did that. So, yeah, that's my call to action. So thank you again for everyone. I appreciate you stopping by, and we will catch you next time. You all take care.